Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this week's Pathway to 7 Million. Today, we are going to work in two different areas of our now super familiar chart. We are going to work on our next step of the 8x8, building the relationship on our MET side of the database. And then we're also going to talk for the first time about our 12 direct plan, which is about creating relationships with people we haven't met yet. So let's move on. We've been through our first 4 weeks. We've done lots of stuff to get us up and get us moving through our 4 weeks. Last week, we made a phone call to our customers and clients. That is the first call that we've made. It can be challenging. I recognize that. So this week is a little bit easier on you. This week, you're going to send a handwritten note to the folks that you called this week, whether you got them or not. If you did get them, you're going to, send them a note thanking them for their time talking to you, saying how great it was to catch up. And then you're going to gently ask them for a referral at the end of the note. Oh, by the way, do you know of anybody looking to buy or sell a house? Please give them my name. If you did not speak to the person that you tried reaching out to last week, you're going to send them a note as well saying, hey, I tried reaching you last week, would love to catch up. Hope all is well with you. Do you know of anybody who's looking to buy or sell a house? And you're going to send that out to them. In both scenarios, whether you spoke to the person or you didn't speak to the person, when you write that handwritten note to them this week, you're going to ask for the referral, and you are going to put your business card in the envelope and shoot it off to them. So this week is a very low pressure lead gen week for you. You can do this anytime during the day. In the future, I would recommend that you would write these notes at the same time as you're making the phone calls, but I didn't want to put too much pressure on you last week. But when I do this kind of prospecting, I always write the handwritten note thanking the person or saying, I'm sorry, I didn't catch you at the same time that I'm making the phone call, so that what we talked about is in the forefront of our mind. And never, ever, ever forget to ask for the referral. Remember, all of this lead gen that we're doing, all of this warming up of our database is all about getting the referral. We have to get the referral, and the only way you're going to get the referral is if you ask for it. So please don't forget to do that. So that's what we have on our MET side of our database. So let's move on to our haven't met side of our database for today. So you can see there's a dividing line here through the center of this now very familiar chart. So what we want to do is we want to concrete relationships with people. We want to saturate with them with our name and our information so that they're used to hearing from us in a real estate capacity as well as a friendship capacity, so that when somebody comes in front of them suggesting that they're interested in finding real estate, buying or selling a property, that your name spits out of their head. So that's what we do with this whole 8x8 relationship. But we have to consistently be adding new people to our database so that we can grow our business. And one of the ways to add new people to our database is through direct mail and geographical farming. So if you look at this database, so this big center cube here is, cylinder, excuse me, it's not a cube, it's a cylinder, is our full database. So we have the people we've met and we have the people we haven't met. So today we're going to talk about them. When you get a lead from this geographical farming or anybody else that you come across in your life that you haven't met before, but then you want to warm up, you're going to get that name, whatever way that name is coming to you, and then that person is going to drop into what we call your new business. And the new business people are going to circle all the way back up, and you're going to add them to the 8x8, and you're going to put them all through this relationship. So what are we doing today? We are starting to find new people. And I apologize if you can hear the dog who now decided that he is going to chew on the bone directly underneath my chair. Sorry about that. So that's the noise you hear in the background. So today we're going to talk about this, setting up your 12 direct plan. Your 12 direct plan is going to people you do not know. It is going to a farm. So even if you pick your own neighborhood, these are a lot of people in there that you're not going to know, right? The most important thing with your 12 direct plan or any kind of farming that you do is to get the information out to the field, right? To get your name and contact information and face, if you want to put your face on it, out to the field. So often we wind up with agents who do not get the mailing done because they're so hung up on what they're going to say. I don't want you hung up on what you're going to say. Content is secondary to getting the job done. so many times agents like, well, I don't know what to put on the postcard. So then they think about it for a full month before they get the postcard together and design what it's going to look like. And it takes a long time to do that. And then the window of opportunity to get it out in the mail is gone. So in terms of this 12 direct plan to your geographical farm, I want you to understand that the content is secondary to getting it actually done. And everything that we're going to do in setting up your direct plan goes with that philosophy, that the content is secondary. So let's think about your geographical farm first. Your geographical farm should be 200 to 300 homes. 300 homes is a lot. I certainly don't want you going over 300 homes. 200, 250 is a little bit more manageable from a price points perspective, from a potential item of value perspective in the future, marketing to these people. The beauty about a geographical farm is generally the addresses do not change. It's a rare situation where the addresses are going to change if a builder is building in there, or if they're breaking up lots, they're creating new addresses. So once you set your geographical farm, in most cases, 99% of cases, those addresses are set to go. I was talking to an agent today who was asking, well, how does she remember what homes that she mailed it to? If you're mailing to addresses, the addresses don't change. The people may change, but the addresses don't. So that's a very good thing about a geographical farm. How do you choose your geographical farm? Your geographical farm should be chosen based on a couple of different factors. One, it should be somewhere you know. Ideally, not only do you know the geography, the surrounding items around that geographical farm. By items, I mean your, schools, businesses, those kind of things. But hopefully people are going to already know you in there. Ideally, for me, I think you should be picking the community that you live in, because you're already a known factor, at least to some of the people within that farm, okay? So you want to pick something that you're familiar with, ideally your own community. If you want to target a community potentially that has a higher price point than your own community, that's fine. But there is some benefit for people already living in there knowing you, okay? So that's one thing you're going to pick your farm on. The second thing you want to look at when you're picking a geographical farm is what's going on in that farm and who's doing it, okay? So you have the best way to identify what's going on in that farm and who's doing it right at your fingertips, and that's the Garden State MLS, or whatever the MLS is that's for the area that you're working in, okay? Go into the MLS, look up the community that you're working on for a farm. How do you look that up? You can do just by streets, if you know the streets. You can do a map search in the MLS. When you do that map search, you want to look for two things. One, what's the turnover? How many houses are actually turning, or units, if it's a condo community, units are actually turning over? Are there a lot of units that are turning over? Well, that's good. It might be a consistent community. Maybe it's a move-up community. Are there fewer homes that are turning over? Is the neighborhood due to start to have turnover? I'll be very frank, in my neighborhood, there are a lot of new families coming in, younger families coming in, right? Younger groups coming in, and older folks like myself or older moving out. So it's taken a long time for the families to grow out of their homes and to decide to downsize, and newer families are coming in. So the turnover in my particular neighborhood historically has been very low, but now is very high, okay? So you want to look at the turnover rate. Second, you want to look in the MLS who is doing that business. You will be able to tell very, very quickly if somebody is farming that community. If there is one agent that is doing 80% of the business in that community, you can bet your bottom dollar that agent is farming the community. Is that a problem? Maybe, maybe not, okay? That is a business decision that you need to come up on. If you have an agent in that community who's doing greater than 50% of the business in that community, maybe even 40% of the business in that community, you have to decide two things. One, do you want to go up against that agent? That's the first thing. Second, do you think for whatever reason that you can overcome that agent? Maybe people really don't like that person, but they use them anyway because they're doing a lot of business. Or maybe you think that person is getting ready to move out of the real estate business. Who knows? Whatever the reasons are, you have to decide if you can overcome somebody who's already doing a massive amount of business in the neighborhood. You need to have that data. You need to know who's farming there. You need to know what you're up against, okay? So choose your geographical farm, 200, maximum 300 homes. So now we come to our content. And what are we going to be sending to them? Right now in Command, you can't directly print from Command your postcards. It doesn't work that way. You can design them and then you have to download them at this point in Command to send them to a printer. So because of that, I am suggesting, at least until Command has this capability, that you use Quantum Digital. I like Quantum Digital. They've been around for a very long time. They make it super easy for you to do. So let's pop over to quantumdigital.com. I have an account with Quantum Digital. I have already opened it. When you come in, you're going to see this page, right? What you want to do is you want to click Real Estate Marketing, go to get your account, create your account. It's free, not going to charge you anything. Once you create your account and you get into your account, you're going to come here. You'll notice when you create your account, you see my picture up here. Yes, I need a new one. You'll see that it's branded to me. In creating your account, it's going to ask you who your broker is. It's going to ask you for your picture. It's going to ask you for all your content information, your telephone numbers, your fax number, email, all of that kind of stuff, right? The reason it's asking you for that is so that it can auto-populate it for you. So please take the time when you go into Quantum the first time and do that stuff, because then you're going to see a more complete picture when you're choosing your postcards. The next thing I want you to look for once you're in here is I want you to go to the automated direct marketing systems. It is super important to me that you leverage your time. I don't want you thinking about what am I going to send every month to your farm. The content is secondary to getting it done. Letting Quantum Digital handle it for you is the easiest way you can do that. So we're going to go to Auto Mail and we're going to create a farming campaign. Now, when you come into creating a farming campaign, it is going to give you a whole selection. My computer is a little slow today. Big internet outages all over the place today, so I'm a little slow, but running. It's going to give you a number of campaigns to choose from. So let's just scroll through them for a second. Yes, I have told you that content is secondary to getting the job done, but content is important. You need to make sure that you're providing your customers and clients with something to do with real estate, first of all. Second of all, something of value to them. Normally, when you're sending hard mail to people, you have maximum 10 seconds that they're going to be looking at the piece of mail. In my house, I have to open the door, walk around the door to where the mailbox is on the house, and then I take the stuff out of the mailbox. I have to walk around the door again to get inside, walk through my living room, through my hallway, to my kitchen, to the trash. That's the time period that I have to look at that piece of mail before it hits the recycle bin. And if you think any differently, you're deluding yourself. You have about 10 seconds of the customer's time. So in that 10 seconds, you need to make sure a couple of things happen. First and foremost, that they recognize you who is sending it. Secondly, that they recognize that it's relevant content that you're sending. And third, that it's real estate that you're sending. You want those three things to hit people's minds. Oh, it's Jane. Oh, it's real estate. Oh, look, if I spend money on perennials once in 10 years, it's a lot less money than spending it on annuals every year. Whatever it is, it's relevant information. So when you're picking these programs through Quantum, please make sure that you are picking something that's relevant to real estate and to home sales. And you'll see through here that there's all sorts of things. This is market update on a specific community. So is this one. These are boosting the home values of your cards. Then you're going to see something like this. These cards are beautiful. They are eye-catching. I would not recommend them. They are about travel and suggestions and facts about those locations. It is not hitting the relevancy piece. You could go with interior design items. Those are here as well. Home selling tips, again, your local market. Go in here, pick a card. If you pick something, there are a couple here that are considered premium cards, okay? So these cards, these two here, Market and Market Report 2, are considered premium cards. These cards, when you set them up, are going to have market specific based on zip codes that you provide information going out. So that might be something you want to do as well. You can choose to do that. Remember, however, that you have also set these folks up for the neighborhood nurture. So this kind of information is going to your customers and clients via email, via the neighborhood nurture. You may decide as a business decision that you want to double up on that and send this, or you may want to decide as a business decision that you want to just send, boosting your home values, et cetera. That's your call. Like I said, content is secondary. Once you choose your card, you're going to pick it, right? You're going to be able to look at the front of the cards, to look at the back of the cards. You're going to be able to edit the back of the card, okay? It will, once you choose it, automatically put your information in. So let me come here and actually choose one down here below my window. I'm going to start over because I have done this in the past. So you can put in a landing page, which should be your website. You're going to throw that in here. Now is here is where you can start editing. If you're using logos, if you're using images of yourself, whatever it is that you're using, please make sure that there's continuity to your imaging. Remember, you have 10 seconds from the mailbox to the trash, to the recycle bin. You want there to be an image that's recognizable as you from everything else that they're getting. So when you edit your card, keep that in mind that there's continuity. You'll see that there are dates and months you can choose. Typically, these postcards are getting delivered in the middle of the month. That's great. Hit your next step. Then it's going to ask you to choose your recipients. You can choose your recipients in one of two ways. You can choose a geographical area, or you can upload your list. So this is where we were this morning with the other agent, that the company was asking her what streets she wants to send, right? So you can choose the streets directly within their system, or you can go to Cole Realty Resource in the office, download the group of streets that you want, have them in one CSV file, and upload them here, right? I'm going to go with GR2, which is the streets, particular streets in Glen Rock. You'll see here, if I went by zip codes in Glen Rock, by using the whole zip code, I'm pulling a lot more houses, right? So we're suggesting 198 homes in this marketing piece, which is right in that about 200. If I pick those Glen Rock 198 homes, you'll see I have 198 recipients. Let me go to my next step. Yes, that's my next step. And then over here, next step. Then it's going to say, okay, once you have these set, it's going to be $84 a postcard, $166.32 a mailing. You're going to, if you have a promo code, please look in for promo codes. We want to do that. Quantum is now going to send this postcard out on my behalf every month and bill me $166.32. And it's just going to come to my credit card, and I'm going to know that that mailing went out. Here is where I'm going back to two things. One, content is secondary to getting it out. In this scenario for our 12 Direct, we are leveraging out the program, the doing of it, to Quantum, right? So it's getting done. Second, $166.32. Remember that we have to reinvest back into our business. When we go back to our 30-30-40, 30% cost of sale, 30% investment in our business. This is an expense. Quantum is going to put it out over time for us, in this case, $166 a month. It's an expense. You need to recognize it and make sure that you can commit to it before you do it. You need to be sure that you're saying, yes, I'm going to do this every month, because I do not want to see you sending this out for 3 months, even sending this out for 6 months in a geographical farm, and then stopping it, because geographical farms are not going to give you instant returns. Remember, these are people you do not know yet. They have to get to know you. They have to recognize your name. You have to start making that imprint on them, right? So it's going to take a long time to make the impact on your geographical farm. If you do it for 3 months, if you do it for 6 months, and then you say, hey, I have no more money to do this, then you have thrown that money out the door. Okay, so recognize it as an expense. Recognize that it is from the 30, 30, 40, a portion of that middle 30 business expenses that you are setting aside so that you're building for the future. And you have to recognize that it is not going to be instant returns with geographical farming. These are cold things going out and they take time to hit. In that same vein, these same houses are always going to get all of your just listed and just sold cards, okay? When you're sending out just listed, just sold cards to your geographical farm, it doesn't matter where the house was listed or where the buyer bought. What's important is that they can recognize that this is you, the same agent who sends the monthly postcards about whatever it is that is real estate based, and that, hey, look at how busy this agent is doing. It's a second hit or hopefully a third hit a month on your customers in your geographical farm. To that end, make sure that the template that you're using for your just listed, just sold cards has similarities to the template that you're choosing from Quantum Digital. Make sure it's the same photos, make sure it's the same logos, make sure potentially it's the same color scheme that you're using. If you're using a KW branded card through Quantum Digital, 9 times out of the 10, it's going to be red because that's our brand. So make sure that you're choosing that so that there is continuity, so that when people in your farm get other pieces from you, they recognize it as the same agent and it's a continual hit. Geographical farming takes a long time. It's impact, 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 continuing to hit, 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 right? Set it up, go and do it, commit to it. Commit to getting it done. If you're saying to yourself right now, I'm not sure that I can do $166.83, whatever it was every month, then do a smaller farm. Then do just 100 homes, and that's going to be $80 a month. You can always add to your farm later without throwing the money out the door. All right? Okay. Over time, you'll be able to make warm calls into this farm. That's our goal. Our goal is to take people who don't know us, people we haven't met yet, and move them over to the met side of our database. So in a year or so, you will be able to make calls into this farm, which technically are cold because you don't know the people, but they will recognize your name, and that will warm that call up for you. And hopefully you'll be able to pull those people back into our 8x8. Anybody who makes a phone call to you and says, hey, I got your card, I live at 123 Main Street, you know it's in your farm, and they want information from you, or they're asking you any kind of information, those people are new business. They have fallen out of the bottom of that cylinder, and you automatically put them back up into the 8x8 program, and you start on the saturate with them. All right, good. I hope we have this all in our brain, what our 12 Direct program is. That's what we're doing today. I want you thinking about and executing on your small item of value for week 8. Week 8 is right around the corner. I think it's actually, might be next week. I'm not 100% sure, but it's very, very soon. Please make sure that you have your small item of value together for that. Actually, no, it's 2 weeks from now, because next week we're going to be working on your 33 touch. 33 touch is super important, and we need to make sure that your entire SOI is in command. Please make sure it's in command. If it's not in command, get it done. Your whole SOI has to be in command so that we can set them up for our 33 touch program. All right, anybody have any quick questions? I see there's a couple of people live on here today. Any questions? Joe, do you have your hand raised? No, maybe something in the background. Yes. All right, go ahead.
Jane, does Quantum have the KW logos and all that on their platform already?
Quantum has basic KW logos on there. You have to upload the specific prosperity one.
Thanks.
Super easy to do. If you need those logos, you can reach out. We can get them.
Right, and I also use Vistaprint. They're very similar. A good company, Vistaprint.
Yep, Vistaprint, you can use them. They do just as well as Quantum. They also have the same kind of auto mail program for you. For me, the most important thing is that auto mail program setup. I want it done every month. I don't want you to have to think about it. It should just go. And once a year, you should look at it and say, hey, I like these cards. Let me use the next version of them. And you think about it, 12 months from now, and boom, boom, it's done for the year. Off it goes. You get billed monthly. Content is secondary to getting it done.
Yeah,
I can
that's
upload
great.
my own
Being able to
design.
being able to do it in one-stop shopping is really excellent.
It's excellent. I'm sorry, Jen, you said, can you upload your own designs? You can upload your own designs. Here's my concern about that. Do you have 12 months of designs? I don't want somebody saying on, July 8th, oh, my mailing is due next week, and spending, 10 hours, 12 hours, 4 days worth of time on doing this. That's why I'm saying content is so much less important than getting it done. If it's going to take you 10 hours to design one card each month, that's what, 120 hours a year to get these cards done? I personally think that's too much of your time. Remember, ROI, your return on your investment. What you're investing is your time, and your time is worth more than that. That's my personal opinion.
Can you do a one-time mail out, or does it need to be? I know for this, certainly you want us to do that, but I'm talking like for something else. Do they have it?
Well, you could do a one-time mail out. The return on your investment on a one-time mail out is so minuscule. It's so minuscule. And that's where I'm saying, like, even a just listed, just sold cards, historically, people will send a just listed, just sold card to the community around that listing. And that's not a bad thing to do, but the impact of sending that just listed, just sold card around the streets around that neighborhood is so much smaller than if you were sending just listed, just sold cards over and over and over and over again to your farm and to your sphere of influence. Those people are recognizing, hey, Jane did it again. Hey, Jen sold another one. Look at this woman. She sells a lot of real estate, right? Mm-hmm. Because they're getting consistent. It doesn't even matter where it is. If you're sending it to, so you sold 123 Main Street, and everybody on Main Street and Maple and Rock are all getting that house, there'll be some curiosity. Oh, that's what that house sold for. But you're not getting the same impact of consistent mailings. I would rather see you spend your dollars on a consistent mailing than a one-time around a listing that you have. That's my personal opinion on it.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Anybody else? Nope. Okay, then we'll see you next week. Be good, everybody. Have a good day.